So I've just washed this bike and I wanted to show you it before I change it to the road setup. I want to see what it's like as a road bike, this gravel bike. I'm sure it will work, but I just want to see what it's like because my Cannondale, as I said, my Cannondale is very poorly at the moment and needs some money spent on it. So yeah, the next time you see this now, it will be in road setup. Right guys, this is the Revolt now in road mode. And what I want to say to you is if you are going to buy a bike, please think about what the bike looks like and whether it's attractive to you. You need to have a bike that is attractive, a bike that draws you, a bike that you want to ride, that you feel that you want to ride. Otherwise, you're not going to ride it. And this bike for me, this bike, the Giant Revolt, is that bike. It draws me no matter what. I want to ride it in road mode, in gravel mode, no matter what. And so I want to emphasize that fact to people, particularly those who are just getting into road cycling or gravel riding or even mountain biking, whatever. You've got to get a bike that you are happy with and that you know, draws you to it to make you want to ride it. So this bike now with these wheels on, the Scribe race disc wheels and the Vittoria Corsa 2.0 tires in a 28C, they've been on here for about a week. I've done 200 kilometers on them. So I can't really form any opinions about it as a road bike at the moment, but it is smooth, I will say that. But you would expect that anyway from a carbon frame and a carbon fork. You know, it's a carbon frame, carbon fork with all aluminium parts basically. You know, the seat post, the dropper seat post, the handlebars, the stem, the wheels, yeah. And the saddle has like steel rails, I think, because it's heavy, that thing. It's like a brick. But it's quite, I find it quite comfortable. It's just heavy. So you've got a carbon frame with mostly aluminium parts. And my Cannondale CAD 12 is an aluminium frame with mostly carbon parts. So I think that they ride very similarly. That is only my thinking. I'm not arguing with anyone. I'm just telling you how I feel. I think aluminium can be, particularly Cannondale and the CAD 12, I think that's an exceptional frame. I think that is the pinnacle, in my own opinion, of aluminium frames. And I think it's so good. And when you add carbon parts to it, it is so smooth and so fast. It would smoke this thing easily. Yeah. Maybe I'm a bit biased because I love that bike. If I had to get rid of all my other bikes, I wouldn't shed a tear. But that CAD 12, I would be crying if I had to get rid of that. And it's been with me since 2016, and I've, you know, had a lot of adventures on it, but it is a fast bike. That's what I would say in the setup that I had, or yeah, in the setup that I had, because I crashed, as you probably know. And I'm trying to rebuild it again, you know, or get parts for it and put it back together. And so this is why I was looking at this in road mode, and I had these wheels spare, so I thought I would try it out. But yeah, overall, they're pretty similar in smoothness on the road. I do like this, you know, I'm not saying the Giant is not good though. It is good, and I do enjoy the bike. The ride is nice. And on gravel, you know, obviously you can't compare the CAD 12. This is smooth on gravel, this bike, I think. But if you are doing real hardcore stuff, obviously you'd want to have like some kind of suspension or a suspension fork anyway on the front. A couple of things I wanted to touch on were, with this bike particularly, were the flip chip and the electronic gearing. What I would say to you is don't think with the flip chip that, yeah, I can just flip it over whenever I want, in whatever mode I want it in. If I want gravel, I can just lengthen the wheelbase, or if I want to have it in road mode, I can shorten it. To be honest with you, this is such a faff. Even the bike shop were faffing around with it for hours. And in the end, I told him I'll come back the next day. It was ready the next day, but yeah, it was a lot of faff. So I've just left her in the long wheelbase now, and I'm not going to change it ever. No matter what I got on there, it's just going to stay in that. And the same for the electronic gearing as well. Years ago, I heard about electronic shifting, that, you know, it's going to do away with the need to go to a bike shop and have to have new cabling, get your, you know, cables adjusted and things like that. That isn't true. That's a myth, particularly on SRAM anyway, the Explore, you know, the Adventure, or this setup anyway, SRAM Explore. It is, that is a myth. This has already had to be adjusted again because it went out of sync. And now I put the new wheel on. I think it should still be the same. It's the exact same cassette. I took it off the old wheel set. But even still, I got to go back to the store now and have them, you know, set up the gearing again. So that is a myth as far as I'm concerned. I prefer the Dura-Ace mechanical on my CAD 12. But again, I'm a fan of rim brakes for the road. I don't see the need for disc. I much prefer rim brakes. So yeah, I'm obviously going to like mechanical, but I tell you, Dura-Ace mechanical, wow, it's so fast, so smooth, it's amazing. And it's faster than this thing and smoother. I don't know about how often it goes out of sync because I didn't have it long enough before it crashed. But yeah, I did love it while I had it. And it will be back, yeah. That bike is definitely coming back. Like I said, it's my favorite bike. So those are a couple of things that I wanted to touch on, just so that if you just did think about buying this bike, that you are not fooled in any way. Yeah, don't think about, like I say, the flip chip is not as easy as you think, and the gearing doesn't stay as you think it should. So those are my thoughts, guys, on this in road setup, and basically it's the same, you know, for the gravel as well. I do think it's a good bike. I have enjoyed it. I have enjoyed using it, and I still enjoy it. Is it worth almost $4,000? Nah, I don't think so. $4,000. It came with cheapest chips wheels, cheapest chips handlebars. The seat post is cheap. The saddle's cheap. I didn't really look into it much. I should have looked into it much more. But you know, bike prices are inflated, so I either had to pay it or just forget about getting a bike. And in the end, I just thought I'd pay it. The saddle, you know, everything is cheap on it. It's all Giant's own stuff. It's not terrible, but for a bike of this value, you should never see parts like this, in my opinion. You know, to me, this bike is worth $2.5 grand. That's it. That's all I think it's really worth. Anyway, I better end it here. The video is going to be long anyway, as it is. I'll end it here, guys. I'll give you my thoughts about this in road setup in, I don't know, a month or two maybe, when I've had more time on the bike with these tires and with this wheel setup and just the general feel of it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again. Have a great weekend, or what's left of it. It's Sunday here now in South Korea. Have a great day anyway. Bye, guys.